Thank you to my channel member, Timothy Norman, and a great big welcome to Christina, my newest channel member. Welcome to the Tilt Squad. I hope you'll enjoy all the member-exclusive content I have coming in the near future. If you'd like to find out how you can gain access to the member-exclusive content as well as support the channel, you can check out the links in the description box below. Without the support of members like you, these videos wouldn't be possible, so thank you for supporting the future of video. Welcome back once again to the Urbexstead Mall series. Today's episode brings us to the Greenwood Mall in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So this mall's been on my radar for quite some time, but being that it's over in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I never find myself near there, I just kept kind of putting it off. But on this occasion, I happened to be in the area for the grand opening of the Smiths Grove, Kentucky Buc-ee's. I did a full video on that, and you can check it out. I'll try and remember to put a link in the description box below. It was awesome. So finally, we're going to get to check out this mall. So if we take a look at the mall directory, you can see this mall's layout is really weird, and I love really weird mall layouts. They just kind of captivate me and intrigue me. Now from a shopping perspective, weird layouts probably aren't really a good thing because then you might have a little bit harder time trying to find the store you want to go to, but for me, since I'm just sort of wandering around, you can just sort of get lost and just be like, I have no clue where I'm at, but it's so great. Heading over into the food court, that also has a really weird layout and just a really weird vibe because I don't think I've ever seen a mall food court where the play area is kind of a part of the food court. They also had all of this tile artwork on the wall, which was kind of weird as well. Now, they did have a pretty good selection of food offerings in the food court, not really any vacancies, which was nice to see. Construction for the Greenwood Mall would begin in 1997, and the mall's first phase would open on September 12th of 1979. It would open with a J.C. Penney and Ben Snyder's as the anchors and more than 50 inline stores. In 1980, a store called Kastner Knott, which operated out of the Bowling Green Mall, another nearby mall, would relocate to the Greenwood Mall. In 1986, plans would be announced to relocate a freestanding Sears from downtown Bowling Green to a brand new store at the mall. The new 87,400 square foot Sears store would open in October of 1978. In 1987, all 9 of the Ben Snyder stores would be converted to the Hess name. Then, Hess would close all of its stores in March of 1993. only for the mall location to later be demolished in 1995 and replaced with a two-story Dillard's, which would open in September of 1996. So this part of the mall's history was kind of weird because how often do you hear of a store adding another level? Not very often, but in 1996, the Kastner Knot would add a second level. They would also open a separate home goods store near the food court. During the 90s, this mall seemed to have a lot of the department stores just kind of shuffling around. Following the purchase of the Kastner Knot chain, Dillard's would abandon the store that it had opened in 1996 and begin moving into the Kastner Knot space. Also that same year, a Daw Hares, which was a regional-based chain out of Lexington, Kentucky, would come into the mall and replace the Kastner Knot home store. Then, in March of 1999, the original Dillard's building would reopen as the state's second Famous Bar location. If you're unfamiliar with the Famous Bar name, they were a department store that was based out of the St. Louis, Missouri area. Unfortunately, in 2006, all the Famous Bar locations would either be rebranded or closed, most of them rebranded, like the one here at the Greenwood Mall, as it would take on the Macy's name. 2001 would see the front end of the mall expanded, adding a brand new Lifeway Christian bookstore, an Old Navy, and even a Dunham Sports, which was Kentucky's very first location. Throughout the 2000s, the mall would continue to do well. Many stores would come and go, but the mall always had a high occupancy rate. So when I read that in 2017, the Macy's closed, that really kind of shocked me because this is a mall that's doing pretty well, especially for the area that it's in because we're not in a major city. But it would be replaced very quickly that very same year with a Belk department store. Of course, we can't talk about a mall nowadays without mentioning that in 2019, the Sears would cease operations, leaving another anchor tenant space vacant. So here we are in what would be considered the center court of the mall. I really kind of liked this clock here and just the way that everything was lit. It was really nice. Nothing super fancy, but nice. I would have liked to see a fountain included though, because I do love my fountains. So this brings us to today. Now, I visited this mall during the middle of a weekday, so that's why it doesn't seem very busy. But I'm sure on the weekends and after work hours, things pick up quite a bit. Since Belk tends to be a department store that's mainly only in the southern United States, we don't really have any around Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'm sure, unless you live in the southern United States, you may have never been to one yourself. So I figured we'd pop in and I'd kind of show you around. It's a very nice department store. Kind of reminds me of Dillard's, especially the architectural design of the store. Now, in my experience, Belk isn't exactly the most affordable department store. It's not like a JCPenney or a Sears. It's kind of more like a Macy's or a Dillard's. But every now and then when I pop into a Belk, I'll find a really good deal, like some of the jewelry that they had back there that was on discount. Okay, so that is a very cool store. This is hard copies here at the mall, and I did pick up a CD. I know you can't see it because it's in the bag, but to support the place. Not a really bad price. It was used, and it was $9 for Kool and the Gang. It's like their best hits or whatever. So excited to get that. Seeing this Rue 21 store here closed and shuttered kind of is weird because they recently announced that they're actually going to be resurrected from the grave, which maybe that's more weird than seeing the closing store. Thanks for coming along to check out the Greenwood Mall here in Bowling Green, Kentucky. If you enjoyed this episode, then why not check out one of my memberships? There's links on screen and in the description box below where you can gain access to all kinds of member-exclusive content and help support the future of video. That's going to do it for today. Thank you to everyone who supports the future of video, and I will see you next week.